Chaos. Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Now, this one has been hotly requested for the longest time. I went down a bit of a Band-Maid rabbit hole quite a while ago, and for some reason I never got around to doing this one. Did I do... Maybe I did Manners separately, but this is like the live performance with Manners and Black Hole that everybody keeps telling me that I need to see, because it's got the bonus track of Black Hole in there as well. I think I've selected the right video. It's hard to tell. That's, things are coming and going on YouTube all the time, so who knows. That said, I'm keen. I really, I love Band-Maid. I think that they're fantastic, sort of very traditional sort of, well, I don't even want to say what they like, because every time I do, everybody's like, no, you don't understand. You've only heard the parts of Band-Maid you've heard, and Band-Maid is a genre unto themselves. And so, the further down the rabbit hole I'll go with these guys, the more I think I'm going to learn that. Having said that, I've got an inkling that at least Manners is kind of a little bit more traditional rock. So we'll see how that goes. Always keen to hear the guys jamming out, Misa on bass particularly, but also Konami always is kind of fun to watch as well. So let's check it out. Band-Maid, here we go. So I think this is one of those online performances without a crowd that they were doing during COVID, right? 2021, yeah. Oh, what a tone, man. Wow. Funky, man. I'm digging it. Very bottom heavy. I've heard this one, yeah. I really want to get a good look at Konami's guitar, man. The song's just got like a cool pop rock energy, I like those parts there too. That's really cool. It's that bass, man. Holy shit. Mika shredding. Wow. As usual, just one thing that I just keep coming back to with these guys is they just understand the balance. They just know less is more. They don't play with the kind of ego that you see, I guess it's stereotypically a lot of male bands. Everybody's like trying to show the world just what they're capable of at every moment, whereas these guys, they know that they're just going to sit in the pocket, play the groove. There's a guitar solo, but it's like, it's just well crafted. It's got a little bit of shredding in there to keep people interested, but it's mostly just only what's necessary, And that's the magic of these guys. They get it. It's like they're they're playing a song. They're not each of them playing the sum of the song's parts, if that makes sense, you know? And that's fantastic. And man, I just, like, I know everybody goes on about Misa. God, there's so many names to remember. I'm terrible at this. Misa. Just her playing with the octaves and stuff and doing a lot of those big sort of runs and things like that up the top of the bass. It just works. It just works so well. Now, I know I cut off in the middle of the middle eight or the breakdown there. I'm going to go back. Trust me. Here we go. Nice. A little bit of grit in the voice there. Yeah, I think we talked about Flea last time. It's very similar, playing with those high octaves. Oh, those jazz chords. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so I'm not familiar with this song. Jesus. All right. We've shifted tack. It gallops, man. I just need to stop for a second. Wow, okay, so we go from manners, which is like literally as the title says, it's so well mannered, right? Everything's in its place. It's just this like a perfect rendition of like a 70s inspired rock funk pop song, right? And then there's this straight afterwards, which is just pure chaos. Everything is going in different directions, and it's brash and it's brazen, and it's just got a whole different attitude. I'm going to jump back a little bit. I got to get back into the groove here. Is that like a shuffle sort of groove? Wow. This is actually a lot more overwhelming. This is kind of like, I know I've kind of probably got this the wrong way around, but this reminds me a little bit more of some of Guitarix Spin's kind of work, where they get to that point of where there's so much chaos. It's tough, like on a first listen, to bring everything in to really quantify whatever's going on, you know, because they're jumping in on this like hyper. I call it like a hyper punk, right? Where it's like a punk beat, super fast double time shuffle kind of thing. And then you've got everyone just playing all different things. and then you're jumping in and out of like weird sort of like half times, and then you've got like the bass isn't staying put anywhere. It's just pure chaos. It's pure chaos. It's beautifully executed chaos, but I'm just, wow. This is going to take a few listens to really grasp, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like, and I mean this in the most complimentary way, it's kind of like when the first time I ever listened to like Meshuggah or Dillinger Escape Plan, it's so overwhelming, it's tough to just react to, because there's 7 things you want to say all at once, and by the time you've thought of any of them, the moment's gone and you've moved on to something else. So this is a lot of fun though. Love these lyrics too, man. Wow. So that's really cool. Is she playing chromatic? Yeah, it's like a something like that. It's like a yeah, that's what it is. It's like the cool thing about that, like for those of you who are guitar players, musicians, you know exactly what that is. But essentially, she's just playing a what's called a chromatic lick, right? Which is like, if you can see my fingers, that's basically just 4 notes in a row. But typically, the way that it works is that with songs are in a particular key or a scale, chromatic notes, if you're playing a run of 4 notes in a row, that won't fit into the scale. It's not typically in the key center, right? So like normally like a major scale would be like so you can see there's gaps in between of the semitones. Hang on. There we go. Right? But if you're playing like a C chord and you start going, those notes aren't going to typically fit into the key. And so you end up with dissonance, essentially. It's like some of those notes aren't going to fit. But the idea of when you do use chromatic riffs, or chromatic licks, I should say, the idea is to sound chaotic. It's supposed to sound jarring and dissonant. In fact, she used the word dissonance in the lyrics earlier on, And we're at a point now where they're talking about the black hole and getting sucked in. Close your eyes as you search for infinity. Dissonance fills my ears. Erase your existence, freeze time, right? And you get this sensation of being pulled into this black hole, and that's when it's pure chaos, and that's when she's playing this chromatic lick. It's just absolute genius. It's just great writing, because most people aren't going to pick it up. They'll just hear something that just sounds kind of kooky. But it's just a great method of playing something there, like a little, I guess it's like a textural sort of thing that makes you feel uncomfortable, Here it comes again. Now we're getting to full-on chaos, right? Come on. Dude, that was just metal. Oh, that was so good. Thank you to everyone who recommended to me that particular pairing of songs, because when you talk about Band-Maid being a genre, that's what you're talking about. Hang around after the ad break and I'll give you my final thoughts and a bit of a rundown. Hey guys, today's video is brought to you in part by Skillshare. Now, anyone who knows me will tell you that I have way too many interests and hobbies. I'm also what's known as an autodidact, which means I'm largely self-taught, but my interests vary wildly amongst an entire gamut of disciplines. Disciplines ranging from things like music production, composition, video production, YouTube content creation, 3D printing, 3D modeling, electronics, woodworking, drawing, painting, graphic design, computers and code. The list just goes on and on. And in order to become proficient in all of these disciplines, it's taken me a lifetime of skills gathered piecemeal here, there, and everywhere. By and large, it just takes so long to develop a skill level in any of those individual things. But it ain't the old days anymore. And today we've got services like Skillshare, a service that provides you with near limitless amounts of information for one small subscription fee. Seriously, all of their curated learning modules and lessons and classes, they're all available at your fingertips. What if you're a graphic designer and then one day you just need to learn something very specific in the world of spreadsheets? Your Skillshare account has you covered. And the courses are all curated, meaning that there's a standard level of competency required for anyone to be teaching a course. And the best part about all this is Skillshare offers free trials. So all you need to do is click the link in the description, it'll take you to their site and you can start learning right now. Or, wait till after my video. But either way, look, Skillshare. What a cool and diverse coupling of tracks to be able to react to. That's really cool. This was the bonus round today. You get 2 for 1. But what's interesting is they were really diverse. They don't sound like the same band, other than the fact that the parts around the on the stage there all have that particular individual sound. It sounds like 2 different bands. So you start off with Manners, which is, as I said earlier, is just very polite, genuine, authentic. It has funky bass, but essentially it's straight rock. There's nothing sort of outside of the typical rock pathos as far as the guitar parts and the drumming and things like that. The vocals always are going to lean into pop, regardless of what genre the band's playing. With Seiki singing, it's going to always sound a little bit like pop. Because even though she puts a little bit of grit on her voice once in a while, it's not particularly aggressive. Which is, again, that's not a criticism, that's just the way that it is, right? It's part of the beauty of the band in general is the diversity of their sound. But so then you get that juxtaposed against, you genuinely get the sensation of the chaos and disorder of being pulled into a black hole. And I'm sure there's some sort of metaphorical kind of connection with the meaning behind the song or whatever. But the lyrics are pretty straight down the line, I guess just what I feel like, or what I garnered from it, is the feelings that she's having are like being in a black hole, right? But just the way that song sort of, I was going to say it slowly builds up towards chaos at the end, but it starts with chaos. It's just chaos. That's from beginning to end. It's just jamming, They're just jam-packed full of oh man, it's just, I guess the best way I could think to describe it is it's spicy. There's just so much going on, and it's eclectic, and it's got a punk attitude that wasn't present in the first song and in other songs that I've heard from Band-Maid, you know. But all it speaks to is just how incredibly diverse these ladies are as far as compositional sort of acuity, like what they're capable of, what they're focused on. They have the ability to do whatever they want, which makes it really interesting. Some bands will compose songs that they're capable of composing, and some bands will compose from the perspective of here's our tool set. It's wide and diverse and it's focused. What are we going to do with it? And then they'll come up with some amazing little bits and pieces. An example, something I checked out recently was Blackbriar, which if you haven't watched those guys, I recommend you go check them out, because they're, particularly if you're a fan of bands like, you know, Nightwish and Epic Hair and bands like that. Because again, they strike me as being a group with an incredible musical vocabulary, and they choose to write music a certain way, which is kind of spooky and dark and ethereal and majestic and cinematic, you know. These guys are the same. They obviously have a wide skill set, and the songs that they write are very specifically things that they're choosing to sort of put their energy into. And that's an interesting place to be for a band, I suppose, you know. But yeah, this was this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I've really got to get back in and do more Band-Maid, and you know, a lot of the other bands I kind of started with in Japan, and sort of neglected, but I'm pulled in so many tangents now. It's hard to stay focused in one area for too long. And that's why I like to do these callbacks to things that I've sort of let slip by the wayside for a month or two, you know? So anyway, if you feel like it brightened your day at all, feel free to support the channel just by buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description. The other thing too, there's a new thing. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, look under the video, you'll see a little heart with thanks. That's a way you can donate to creators directly through YouTube, which I only just found out about the other day. And that's a fantastic way to support the channel also. I've spoken about this before, but I've got merch on the way, because I feel like, you know, rather than you guys just donating to me, I'd rather that you guys got something back, you know. If you want to support the channel, if you like what I do, it'd be nice for you to get something out of it as well, other than just the content. So I'm working on some cool designs for shirts and things like that. I just got some samples through. I got this phone case. Who knows? It may end up in my store. We'll see what happens. But I really want to make sure I check everything's quality before I go shipping it out there into the world, because I care about you guys. So anyway, follow, share, subscribe. A lot of people, almost something like 90% of the people who view my channel aren't subscribed. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Thanks again, guys. Like, I never would have discovered any of this sort of stuff if it wasn't for you guys pointing me in the right direction. And I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, stay primal, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.